So as you all know, ICE, or Immigration and Customs Enforcement, they are Trump's Gestapo. And they're the ones who are regularly violating the Constitution, violating due process, just committing crime after crime after crime. And I got to give you some more updates here because on a daily basis, we get new horror stories. So let's start with this one here. There's a new Washington Post investigation that revealed more brazen lawlessness from Trump's Alien Enemies Act deportations. Now, I should point out, and we talked about this the other day, huge news came out. There was a MAGA judge in Texas who said, I'm slapping down the Alien Enemies Act deportations because his invocation of this law makes no sense, right? The point was that law has only been invoked historically when we're actually at war. And we're not at war. Certainly not at war with Venezuela. There was no declaration of war. There's no nothing. I'm pretending to be at war with Venezuela. They tried to coup them in the first term, and they'll probably try to coup them again, but there was no declaration of war. And beyond that, can you even be at war with a gang? Tren de Aragua? But it even falls apart there too, because even if you accept that you can, these people on the facts of the cases, they are not Tren de Aragua. They're just not. So it all falls apart, and it falls apart relatively quickly. So, but here's what we found out. Many of the kidnapped men were in this country legally. At least 2 were vetted and approved to resettle as refugees, and at least 4 had protections against removal. So in other words, these are legal immigrants who are being shipped to a slave labor concentration camp in El Salvador. Crystal points out here, this is just of the roughly 50 cases they were able to examine, and I believe the exact number is about 288 people have been sent there. 288. We know from 60 Minutes, they said 75% of the people who were sent there have no criminal record. There was another outlet, it was either Reuters or Bloomberg, said actually it's 90% of the people who were sent there have no criminal record. This is a crime against humanity, is what we're looking at. This is a crime against humanity. So that's one update for you. We also have, there's this article in the Washington Post. Here are the U.S. citizens caught in Trump's immigration crackdown, and they go through the specifics here. So 3 children, including a cancer patient from Louisiana, a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 7-year-old. The 4-year-old had cancer, shipped out with no medicine. The 2, the 4, and the 7-year-old are American citizens, shipped out with no medicine. Another guy here, Jose Hermosillo from Arizona. On April 8th, Jose, 19 years old, was arrested by Border Patrol agents near Nogales, Arizona, and jailed for 9 days. U.S. citizen jailed for 9 days by Trump's Gestapo. According to court records, agents accuse him of entering the country illegally after he reportedly told officers he was a Mexican citizen, a claim his family says he did not understand due to his learning disabilities and illiteracy. Hermosillo's girlfriend said he unknowingly signed a sworn affidavit prepared by agents. DHS later defended the arrest, saying it was a direct result of Hermosillo's own actions and statements. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs and Attorney General Chris Mays called the detention completely unacceptable and demanded answers from federal immigration officials after proof of Hermosillo's citizenship was provided. Prosecutors dropped the charges and he was released from ICE custody after 9 days. 9 days locked up as an American citizen. Understand something, guys. These ICE agents lie. They just lie. They lie shamelessly. They lie openly. They lie brazenly. Their stories fall the fuck apart under minimal amount of scrutiny, and then they have to tuck their tail between their legs and go away. But the fact of the matter is, with many of these stories, it's too late. If you have no due process, well, if they decide to ship you to the concentration camp, what are you going to do? You can't prove it to anybody because you're not in front of a fucking court. We have empowered the most vile people in this country to act totally lawlessly in the name of Trump's fascism. Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez from Florida. On April 16, Juan Carlos Lopez Gomez, a 20-year-old citizen, was detained by Florida Highway Patrol during a traffic stop near the Georgia-Florida border. Despite presenting his birth certificate and social security card, he was arrested under Florida Senate Bill 4C, a law targeting unauthorized immigrants in the state, which had been temporarily blocked by a federal court. So they're not allowed to detain anybody under this law, but they did it anyway. They did it anyway because they are the criminals. They are the criminals. They're not listening to a court order. They're the criminals. They provided the birth certificate and the social security card, and they still arrested him. Lopez Gomez, who primarily speaks Tzotzil, which is a Mayan dialect, was held in Leon County Jail for over 24 hours due to an ICE detainer, even after a judge verified his citizenship and dismissed the charges against him. Held for 24 hours. I hope that every single one of these wrongly detained people sues the federal government, and gets a massive payout of millions of dollars. If you're locked up for 9 days as an American citizen, if you're locked up for 24 hours as an American citizen, because they lie about you, you should get handsomely rewarded as a result of that. A 10-year-old girl and her siblings in Texas. So they go on to explain that story. Julio Noriega of Illinois. They go on to explain this story. Jency Machado, Virginia. Jonathan Guerrero, Pennsylvania. A military veteran in New Jersey. So you can go read the whole article if you'd like, but what they're describing here is the idea that this is limited. You know, a lot of people, no matter what Trump said, what they heard was, we're going to go after the violent, criminal, undocumented immigrants, the illegal immigrants, the violent ones. Well, they didn't fucking do that. They're going after anybody and everybody, including children with fucking cancer, right? And so this should put to rest any notion that you have of seriousness or competence or a narrowly focused attempt to do mass deportations of the worst of the worst. That's not happening. They are lying every step of the way. That's why you get the fucking horror stories of Andres, the gay makeup artist, 19 years old, who was sent to the concentration camp. The poor guy with the autism awareness tattoo, because he looks after his 15-year-old brother with autism, he was sent there because of that tattoo. You get, of course, Kilmar Brago Garcia, who was sent wrongly. You get all these fucking horror stories, and these are only the ones we know, guys. These are only the ones we know. This is what fascism looks like. And then finally, I got to give you this, right? A pregnant woman wandered the desert for days before Border Patrol detained her. Now, with a newborn, she faces deportation. A Guatemalan woman who had just given birth at an Arizona hospital was swiftly taken into U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement custody before being released on Saturday as she faces deportation proceedings. Guys, there was a headline in The Onion about how ICE officers wait for a baby to be born to deport it. We're now approaching that level of parody. A woman who literally just gave birth was arrested. The woman, who attorneys identified only by her first name, Erica, has been wandering in the Arizona desert alone for 2 days while 8 months pregnant before being detained by U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents on Monday, her attorney Luis Campos told CNN. She had crossed into the United States from Mexico between ports of entry near Tres Belatos Ranch, about 75 miles southwest of Tucson, Arizona, according to a CBP spokesperson. Erica then gave birth at Tucson Medical Center on Wednesday night, 2 days after she was taken into custody with federal agents posted outside of her hospital room. President Donald Trump launched a flurry of immigration policies when he took office in January, blah, blah, blah. You get the deal. So what happened was they had arrested her, and there was colossal backlash and a huge outcry. So they were going to do the thing where they just immediately deported her, no hearing, like all that. And because of the massive backlash, they released her. Now, she's still probably going to be deported, but at least now there's some semblance of a process. But part of the story here is the colossal backlash that made it so after she got arrested, they had to release her, right? So your voice matters. The truth matters. Making noise matters. Applying political pressure, that matters. But man, what a fucking nightmare story. So a woman who just gave birth, immediately arrested. Is America great again yet? Is it great again yet? I don't know. You guys tell me. You guys tell me. More horror stories on a daily basis from Trump's Gestapo ICE officers. And remember, these are the same assholes who said, if you criticize us, we're going to arrest you. There was a case in a Virginia courtroom where you had the ICE officers come in and arrest a guy whose case was just dismissed. Just dismissed. They arrested him. The judge and other people were like, what are you doing? Where's your badge? Where's your warrant? One of them was wearing a balaclava covering his face. And then they went on to tell the media, yeah, if you interfere, we're going to arrest you. So now it's to disagree with them, that's now a thought crime and they'll arrest you for it. We all have to stand up with one voice in unison and say, fuck off, hell no. We're not going to allow this to happen. Man, dark as dark can be. All right, guys, that's the show, y'all. I love y'all very much. Everybody do me a big favor. Please click like and subscribe. That helps out massively and costs you nothing. And much love to all you who support the show on Patreon. Couldn't do it without you. Please consider supporting. The link is below, or you could tip with that thanks button on YouTube. That helps too. Or you can sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. That link's below as well. I've never had a conversation with an advertiser. I've never done an ad read. Very proud of that fact. So you guys keep this show growing. Ground up, grassroots type stuff here. And everybody do me a favor also and go subscribe to Corin's World, the YouTube channel. That's where we're posting Kyle and Corin episodes. We haven't missed a week since we started doing it over there. So if you want to see some Kyle and Corin's World is the name of the YouTube channel. He's at about 12,000 subs now. Let's get him to 100K, man. I want my boy to succeed. So I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.